Good afternoon, everyone, and let's get started for today's session. And for today, we have a very distinguished speaker for the event, and Professor Vimal Rar. And welcome again, ma'am, to the event. Well, let me first read out her long CV, and it's a fairly long CV to her credit.
Be
And
very crisp.
yeah, sure, ma'am, sure. Uh, Professor Rar has done her master's and PhD in chemistry from University of Delhi and postdoctorate from IIT Delhi. She is currently a professor in chemistry department from SGTB Khalsa College, University of Delhi. Apart from that, she is also project head and joint director from Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center of MHRD and also a coordinator from National Resource Center of Chemistry of MHRD. She's a leading women entrepreneur in the field of electronic learning, and she has a decade of experience. She has experience of over a decade in the corporate electronic learning world, and is also amongst the pioneers in implementing the ICT in higher educations. She has, to her credit, many research papers, a patent, books, presentations, projects, and invited talks at local, national, and international forums. Apart from that, in the field of electronic learning, Professor Rar has made significant contributions. She has made a mark at national level in various activities, such as development of e-content, teachers kit, MOOCs. She has been involved in various MOOCs programs, empowerment of teachers in ICT skills, introduction of newer teaching methodologies, amongst many others. The four quadrant format of e-content has been co-designed by her for e-PG Pathshala project of UGC. Apart from these achievements, she's also managing three centers working in the field of e-learning at the national level. One is from Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center. The other one is e-learning at Khalsa College. And the third one is from the National Resource Centers of Chemistry of MHRD. And only from Guru Angad Dev Teaching Learning Center, she has trained more than 70,000 teachers till date. So that's a very, very good achievement in that field as well. And apart from that, she has been contributing in policy making and national level in various committees like Online Courses Regulations 2018 of UGC, E-Governance Committee, Technical Committee of National Academic Depository at UGC, and there are many more in the lineup. She has also been part for the restructuring of engineering books in 14 languages for outcome-based education and NAEP 2020. Professor Rar has contributed towards making chemistry labs safer and environmental friendly by training teachers and lab staff across the nation. And she has been a co-author of the Lab Safety Manual for DU and also the Chemistry Safe Lab modules for Arpit Chemistry. She has been conferred with various awards like Entrepreneur Award by Ministry of Education, Bahrain, Delhi Ratan Award, Entrepreneur Innovator Award, to name a few. One of the three case studies at the best moves from India on her designed moves has been published in the Australian and Indian Quality Assured Online Learning by the Department of Higher Education and Training. Professor Rar, we are looking forward to your informative and talk. So you are most welcome. And over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Shashwat, for such kind words. And good evening, one and all, each one of you who is attending, my dear colleagues, as well as my dear students. I suppose there are more students in this program. So it's really my pleasure to be here. And I'm thankful to Dr. Reena Saxena, my colleague from this college, to have invited me. And my regards to the principal and the entire coordinating team. I'll request all the participants to please keep yourself on mute. If you have to ask, then you can end. I can see Yoga Lakshmi is right now not on mute, so if you can mute, and if some of the administration can also look into that part, that will be beneficial. So thank you, everyone. And let me just share my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So I will be speaking slightly on a different dimension because working at the ground level in various ICT and how the market forces are requiring each one of the students to be prepared. So from chemistry students' point of view, not only from chemistry experiment, which is the focus of this program, but I will try to give you slight overview on how you can use these tools for better understanding and take your learning further. I'll also try to tell you, because many times the students are not knowing how the changes are happening in higher education. Maybe by the time these are implemented, some of you will be already gone out. But what all has been happening? Some prelude has already been given by Professor Bakshi in his inaugural note. But then in National Education Policy 2020, when we talk about pedagogy, and that directly impacts you, dear students, and if your teachers are not doing, try to form groups and try to be taking your learning in that way. And according to this document, it says pedagogy must evolve to make education more experiential, holistic, integrated, inquiry driven, discovery oriented, learner centered, discussion based, flexible, and of course, enjoyable. Are you having this type of education in your teaching learning environment? If not, I think you should be taking more participation in your classroom discussion. So all that will be making your understanding about the concept clear. It should not be just a one way that your teachers are speaking and you're listening. You should be taking more active part. Then only then the things will become easier, because ultimately it is affecting your life. And also NEP 2020 and our group has been working on how the technology can be used in teaching learning. So extensive use of technology will definitely help make you better future citizens of the country who are ready professionally as well as personally. For teachers also, it has been emphasized that they should be effective online educators. And here also technology can help in the learner-centric ways, how the technology can be used in the teacher's role in facilitating active student engagement. Because most of the time it has been seen that syllabi is overburdening, and by the time the syllabi is over, this is what most of the teachers talk about. The syllabi is over means all the information sharing which is there in the books, they will share with you. And by the time you start reading that and ask problem, the time is over and then you are on your own for problem discussing. That should not be the way. Right from the beginning class, you should be ready with the problems and come into self-learning as well. Also, you have to keep in mind that ultimately education system is building you for what? Not just a chemistry degree or any other subject degree or the courses that you're having. So disciplinary knowledge is just one thing. You also have to upgrade yourself in your communication skills, critical thinking, problem solving approaches, analytical reasoning, research related skills, cooperation, teamwork, scientific reasoning, reflective thinking, information or digital literacy, self-directed learning, multicultural competence, moral and ethical awareness or reasoning, leadership readiness or qualities, and lifelong learning. So are you ready after the graduation to learn on your own, unlearn and relearn? Because the type of jobs that you will be encountering, not many will be coming into profession like ours, where even if it is 100 years, the same thing keeps on repeating. So you will have to diversify yourself, you will have to unlearn things and you will have to relearn. So are you comfortable in these strategies? If not, time to rethink and take your time in group discussions around these. AICT, which is a governing regulatory body, like UGC regulates various universities and colleges, but then AICT is doing for the technical courses, engineering and other. So they also have started this implementing in the curriculum as well as the content, and that's where I am coming to that how this also has to be shaped up in each and every classroom, which will impact you directly as students. So here what we have done is, I'm member of this committee where these are the 12 graduate attributes. Just I mentioned the 15 graduate attributes for UGC. There are 12 as per the Washington Accord, and these sets the global standards that globally these are the skill sets which are being looked up by the employers in the students who are coming from our institutions, and that's where our students mostly are lacking. So it is not simply the discipline knowledge, but around all the areas which I have told, we have to be consciously looking and learning around this. So blended learning for outcome-based education is now being talked, where the flipped classroom model, that you study some video, you study some reference book, but then be prepared with the questions, problems, and in the classroom, there should be more discussions amongst the teacher and the learner, and also between the students and the students' interactions, which will make that particular concept more clear and also then try to apply it. And that is what will be actually creating the inquisitiveness and the curiosity part of you, and will ultimately make you creative, and you can apply these things further. Chemistry, if we talk about, is mainly an experimental science. Without experiments, chemistry cannot be learned properly, because what theoretical principles or various laws we talk about in lab, we can really see them happening, we can validate these, but then these two things should not be taken in isolation, they have to be going hand in hand. Chemistry teaching learning, I will say broadly theory and practicals which we, but then more important part is you should also be involved in some projects or activities, and there has to be an integrated approach between them, and that is where it will be making you understand that very particular concept in a more simple manner. Because what aim is to promote critical and creative thinking aligned to the 21st century skills of classroom. How we can integrate the theory with experiments as well as with real life situations, with case studies. Have you ever tried to relate? Chemistry is everywhere, all around us. So whenever you are studying anything, whether it is in theory or it is in practical, try to see where it is applied. Why are we studying this particular part? It becomes very, very important. Also, from teacher's point of view, activities can be introduced for the introduction of the topic, or to explain the concept, or to reinforce the concept. It can be done at any time, but through these activities of projects and discussions and all, there will be more clarity, and the students can think about how they can. And also they should be as students, you should be asking questions. Just don't be the passive listeners in the class. That is very important. And teachers also should be encouraging and motivating the students to ask the question. And interdisciplinary approach is very important. Chemistry with maths, chemistry with bio, chemistry with computers, chemistry everywhere. How can you really integrate? Unfortunately, when we are in classroom, one particular topic, we are not even looking across the chapters, leave other disciplines. So that actually will be limiting your understanding. And whenever you are trying to see where this particular same type of concept is there in across the chapters, and that also is a way where you can develop. One activity example I would like to mention here is dyes and titrations. They are two discrete experiments that you do, preparation of dyes, and then titrations also, we use some indicators which are dyes. Can you recall any those? Please in chat, I'm looking at the chat. If you have something coming in your mind, please write down. I will try to integrate that, and let's see how active you are. Hope you are not feeling sleepy. Can I see some smileys coming from all of you in the chat? It should not be a boring type of lecture one way. Wow, yeah, I can see. Yes, there's an answer also coming. Phenolphthalein is there as indicator. Very good. And Eriochrome black tea. Yes, very, very bright students. We are having methyl oranges there. And good, good, good. So I can see my students are really, really active and listening to me. Thank you, everyone. Okay, so let's go ahead. So how we can, I'll give you some examples, and rest you can evolve, and your teachers can also evolve. So if I tell that, okay, take your mom's white color dupatta and try to get it dyed in orange color from a local shop in Delhi or wherever you are, and then ask what chemical is being used for the purpose and the cost of various chemicals. I mean, whatever we are studying, how it is relevant in the industry and the day-to-day life. Can you design some questions for the shop owner and also for the person who are really doing this ground level work of dyeing? So in chemistry, you can directly relate, okay, what type of dye is this methyl orange that you are using? What reaction can you do in the lab to prepare this dye and the entire azo dye and all the formation, and what mechanism comes? Which type of titration you can do by using these type of indicators? So interconnection between two different discrete topics, different experiments where we don't talk about. So try to see that connection. And also now living chemistry, which we are all well versed with, can we relate it to environment? Can you relate it to legal aspect? Can anyone come out with a legal aspect here with the dyes? No. Start thinking. As per the law now, you cannot have these dyers in a residential area. They have to be located outside. So there are, Mridul, very good, there are laws regarding pollution. So all these are in, when you go in industry, it is not that just you are focusing on the chemistry part. You have to think in a diverse river. Yes, you cannot throw in rivers, and that's where now, can you look up for biology here? Can you look out for some solution in chemistry which can be used to degrade these dyes before they are thrown up in the environment? So all these becomes very, and then economics. The moment you shift the workers from the residential area to outside, economics from the owner point of view, the societal aspects are there, the workers who are working, how is their own life getting affected? Earlier they were living in some city where their kids and also were studying in some school, and now they have to go out. So any one problem you take, the moment you go out in real life, there are so many interconnected problems, and that is one approach I think we have to be looking in the practical, which is missing. 99% of the practicals happening is, this is the theory, this is the that you have to do the procedure, these are the precautions, and this is how you mix up and you get the result, and bye bye. Come on, where it is going to be applied? What are you going to do after this when you go in some industry or otherwise? Or can you design some alternative procedure? Can you design some innovative process around? This is the time when you have, say, Corona time, you are not in the lab, but this time can be used. I will request my colleagues who are teachers here listening, please devise the mechanism where you can give some activities where they are not doing the routine experiment, but they are utilizing their time to do something else where they get better understanding about the application part of the chemistry. That's another way of handling this. Although I am not denying the fact that doing is something which is by hands is something required, but this is missing gap in our education system. This also has to be integrated in both theory as well as practicals. And when you are as teachers, you are looking for group presentations from the students, and this also has to be told to the student that what all you have to keep in mind while developing any project which can evolve into a research project. You can come out with publications, but are you looking into a more scientific way of presenting your activity or project? So then project rubrics comes along. According to that, the marking can be given, not just viva, not just a report, but how you are presenting, whether you have done sufficient review of literature, the keywords, the methodology, the questionnaire that you are designing. So try to, as science student, which even I find limitations in my earlier career, and we are just focused only in the chemistry and the maybe some related part, but you have to look into entire way how the society and industry reacts to that very particular thing. So whether you have done sufficient data collection, whether you have used the analytical tools, what are the challenges, what are the alternative solutions that you have designed, and how you have presented. Now see the graduate attributes that I am talking about. The moment you apply this, put it into place like this, and this is what I do with my students also in this projects. Rather than just saying theory and practical, and that is a small part, I divide my class into groups and they come out with different presentations. They do a thorough survey, and then other students also learn in the way. Environment friendly approach and safe approaches is another very important dimension, which has to be given due weightage and importance. There are, and around that, the repeat value is what I think virtual labs can help us. So it is not a replacement, but I will say once you have any virtual lab, which I suppose in these 5 days you are being already given hands-on exposure to using the simulations and virtual lab. So virtual lab can be either a recorded video, they are broadly called as multimedia labs or e-labs, and the virtual labs can also be simulations where you can do the mix and matching. Okay, if I add 1 ml, then what is the outcome if I add 2 ml? But those type of virtual simulations are not possible for every topic. Although, as we go ahead, if you look into flight simulators, entire flying can be done virtually, and before a pilot really goes into flying, there are number of hours of flight simulation which they have to do in these software. So if we create, and maybe some of you can really help us in this, so those who are giving good knowledge of computers and these, you can really prepare the virtual labs where entire robotics and everything is integrated, where there is a robot who is performing the lab, even because if you have organic and inorganic testing part, really doing the reactions. I'm not talking about the titration. Titrations can be simulated. There are simulations right now. But when you have inorganic and organic cation, anion, or extra element type of testing or functional group testing, imagine a robot creating, and then you have on software that, okay, what is that you observe, and then what is that you are actually making an outcome of. That also is a possibility. But then what we'll be missing is the smell and all. There are many tests where we use our smell senses and also, but that will be a limitation. Although in there is a news that even there are researchers who are working on that some equipment can be fitted, just like you have the fingerprint equipment, some equipment can be fitted where the smell also can be generated as per the inputs given to. So there's a long way of virtual labs which is waiting to be evolved. But then yes, to begin with, whatever is available, you get started so that you can start understanding the theoretical concept. Because why are we doing experiment is to understand the particular theoretical principle behind that, and also take it further. Where are we applying? How can we apply? How can we look for a better alternative if this is not the way? So green chemistry, not as a separate branch, but yes, something which is there. At present, whatever practicals are present, many theory and practical open educational resources our team has also developed, and you can visit this myclass.academy. And just on the front page, you will find this open educational resource for chemistry theory and practical undergraduate level. These are all free courses based on our ARPIC program and the teachers e-kit concept, which I have evolved. Many teachers from across the country are collaborating and putting the content here, and viva questions and all you can practice uh, without even your teachers use. So it is for your own self learning and consumption, and you can come to know more about these conventionals. So look at all the resources available. It is going to be very, very beneficial to you. E-labs as concept, almost a decade back, we have evolved along with Professor Bakshi sir and Priyanka Thakral. And here, I think when we look at the not only chemistry, we had evolved it for biology and physics also. So from students' perspective, if we look, the role of laboratory in science pedagogy, we see things for real. We introduce the equipment handling and experiment planning. So the planning, that how you will design, and it's another view that you should be emphasizing in your classroom. It is, although when you really do the experiments, it's a one set, but then as teachers, and even that can be transferred to the student, that if you have to design this experiment, how the designing will be done for another batch, or if you have to repeat, and how you can learn the reporting, the presentation, and the data analysis, which especially when you look at physical chemistry type of experiments where you have various graphs and plots being done. So that also in a way is developing problem solving skills, but provided you do a multiple set, and that's where the e-labs and virtual labs really help. Also, there are environmental concerns. Just think how much pollution are we doing just in this learning process. In biology now, many of the those dissections have been banned. Prior to that, so those dissections are now limited to for very serious learners like MBBS, where without these dissections they cannot go. But then for general learners, those are removed, and now there are alternative things which are given. But then even to know that, the simulation type of these softwares really help. And surroundings, and then personal safety, the accidents, all these are the concerns which impacts all of us. So we have to be also looking into the safe conduct of the experiment, the cautious, and I'm sure there will be now many softwares which will be arising where there are more fine tuning on this. Right now there is not so much emphasis on these part, but this also has, and this is what we have done in the teachers e-kit, where all the aspect we are looking which is integrated with this. Also, we should be looking for some small research, as I mentioned, some projects related to this, where we can use the ICT tools and also apply it for betterment of the society. Directly the environmental friendly approach comes. So e-lab, I will say, requires the knowledge of the subject. If you have to prepare any e-lab further or to use also, you have to get that understanding. How you will be implementing the pedagogy keeps on changing. Directly you put up, or you're also looking into the applied part and how it is being transacted, and technology, of course, technology in different forms, whether you are doing just a video recording and putting, then also the editing tools are there, or you're putting through learning management system, or you're making it interactive type of quizzes. And then, so broadly we have divided that, yes, when we are structuring any lab, you should be looking into these, break into different parts. One is pre-lab, that is before performing the experiment, what all information, what all preparation has to be done before the student enters the lab. Then there is in lab. In lab, what will be done inside the lab is a post lab, what all calculations will be done, what all conclusions and interpretations, and how the application part can be taken, and then viva, which again directly is a part of evaluation. But then viva again has to be multiple choice and continuous along with the subjective type of questions. So both and in technology, these viva, if it is multiple choice question quizzes, they can be many and the students can do the self practice. So this is what we had designed, which some of these are available also in our arpit program, which is a teachers training program for the entire country for the chemistry teachers. There are some modules which are focusing on how, if there are some accidents which happen, then, or if there is a chemical spilling, or if by chance you have taken that, then what are the first aid measures, how you can reduce, reuse and recycle the waste. There are some spot tests which can be done. There's no need of filling the test tube. And also here I will request my chemistry colleagues that when you go back into face to face type of experiments also, do use small equipment. Many tests can be done just in groove tiles or on Wattman filter paper by using drops of chemicals and not filling of chemicals. Sometimes the results are even better. So these are all the ways, and you can also take the help of these modules which will give you idea that how it can be done. No need of doing it. And the same when you go at your higher classes, it is a good practice then you handle the chemicals in small amounts. Come on, in the real environment you are not going to find the tons full test tube of chemical and then do the testing. So that is also preparing for your life, that how it can be really done. Lab safety, you should be looking into different conditions, because how the toxic material enters our body, right? This is the time you use to upgrade your knowledge into this. So practicals, I will not say just that okay, half an hour we do the students and then write, and then try to improve upon these gaps in the education system pertaining to our the way we have been telling chemistry practicals. So how the toxic material can enter either by mouth or by breathing or by skin contact or by absorption inside the skin or inside eyes. So how you can handle different, they can be acidic spills, they can be basic spills, and various first aid measures around that. Also, each chemistry lab must be having first aid kit, fire extinguisher, and how you can handle these minor cuts. I'll not go into the detail here, but the in my class, all these courses, you will find the videos. And but this one thing is very important, I'll say. Immediately it happens at our home also. If we eat something and something sticks here, sometimes uh, it's very simple remedy, and I happened to find it when we wrote along with Professor Bakshi and Priyanka Takral. We had this lab safety manual for Delhi University. I'm not sure whether that copy is there in your college or not, but then interacting with doctors, we came to know about these things. So it can be immediately, if you take a banana, keep the banana handy in the lab, and it will be at least solving your throat problem. And our stomach is comparatively more robust in the sense it can handle these, and it will be comparatively, because this is more soft area. And similarly, there are many things, and then there are oh, various antidotes, and there's a universal antidote available which you should be knowing for your life. And all these are not the part of the routine experiments, but over and above. And for every chemical there are safety symbols which you must be acquainting yourself. There are MSDS, material safety data sheet. Any chemical which comes in the market has to have a detailed MSDS, and that you can immediately handle. And for every chemical you can come to know what are the antidotes, what are the safety that you have to. And look at, there are so many accidents which have happened around that, starting from Bhopal gas tragedy, the so big chemical tragedy, Along with, there have been chlorine gas leaks in Mumbai, there have been some gas leaks in Delhi. So all these things, what will happen as a chemistry student if you're there? Will say, no, I cannot handle. No, this is not the. So when we are going, this is not there in theory. This is not in the practical experiment. Where are you as a chemistry student? As a chemistry student of life, I will say, which we are also there. We should be knowing more about these chemicals and using technology. Just search for MSDS. You will be coming to know about any chemical that you're going to use in your any experiment or project, or for that matter in your further career also. And we have to be green chemistry, environmental chemistry should not be just in isolation. It has to be integral part of everything that we are doing. So we have to look for how we can reduce, reuse, recycle, recover, and minimum amount we should be sending it to landfill when there is no other alternative as disposal mechanism. So this is one video I like to quickly show where rather than all of you do the Azo Diet Test, isn't it? So can the Azo Diet Test, many times we get, many times we don't get. We have to pull up ice. Sometimes in summers the ice is not there. It's not doing. We are not getting proper result. And this does not require ice. It will just one drop of the same things, same chemicals in the same sequence, but without any ice. Just watch this. Let us now move to look at another test which can be performed in a small scale. And this is a very typical test which students in the conventional manner actually fail to get result. Yes, I am talking about the Azo Diet Test. In the conventional manner, in Azo Diet Test, students need ice and they take almost 15 to 20 minutes to conduct this test. And this test can be done in less than a minute and no ice required at all, because when we are using small scale, then air cooling is sufficient. There is no need of ice. And the procedure, yes, it is the same, and the same sequence we have to follow that we do in the conventional way. That is, we have to take the organic compound soluble in dilute HCl. Then we add aqueous acid, and then we add beta-naphthalol in alkaline medium. That is the solution of beta-naphthalol in alkaline medium. And all these are put up just 1 or 2 drops. So what are we going to observe is the reddish to orange precipitate, that is the dye formation, and that will be confirming the presence of primary aromatic amine group. Note that this test will not be given by secondary and tertiary amines. So let us see how this test can be conducted. We will be taking a Whatman filter paper and adding a drop of organic compound which has been made soluble in HCl, and we add sodium nitrite solution, and we add the alkaline solution of beta-naphthol, and what you observe is bright red to orange dye formation, and that is what is the Azo Diet Test. So you see how wonderfully we can do this reaction without using any ice and without even taking more time, and definitely we are going to reduce the use of chemicals. Another beautiful test we are going to get is for the nickel ion. Here we are going to get the pink precipitate, and yes, I am talking about the famous DMG test for nickel. So how we have to conduct this test? We take the salt solution, we add dilute NaOH, and then we add dimethyl glyoxime. So it's the same sequence, same reagents we are using, but how we are performing? We are not taking the big test tubes and the large amount of all these reagents and solution. We are only using few drops of each, and let us see how this can be conducted. So we take a Whatman filter paper and we add salt solution, few drops, and then we add dilute NaOH followed by dimethyl glyoxime, and what you get is brilliant pink color as the outcome, which confirms the presence of nickel ions. Let us now move So this is another one animation, how animations can be used again for both experiments, explanation, as well as for the theoretical explanation. What I feel is we have to also bridge the gap between experiments and theory. When we are conducting this experiment of cation, anion, or any functional group testing, why not these videos be shown in the theory? So rather than just putting, so there has to be an overall rehaul of how we are delivering this. In practical, that time can be used for other activities, something which can be directly integrated while teaching the theory with the help, and this can be done only with the help of technology. And that's where I'm saying ICT for chemistry teaching, learning, whether it is theory or practical. So look at this. These are what are animations, and many animations can be used for making the concept explain in a very. This one is for the safe disposal of the various inorganic and this solutions of the basic and acidic that we have, how to dispose them of. So it can be done
in this
way.
Plant, there are two tanks, a precipitation tank and a neutralization tank. The waste-based solutions and the waste inorganic solutions collected in the labs are put inside the precipitation tank. In the alkaline medium, the heavy metal ions get precipitated and sediment to the base of the tank. The supernatant overflowing liquid flows to the neutralization tank, in which
is the screen not visible?
It's visible.
Yeah,
It's visible,
Mahalakshmi
ma'am.
is writing. Okay.
Visible, ma'am.
Okay. So maybe something problem at your end, Mahalakshmi. Just see.
Acid solutions are added. The neutralization tank is vacated from time to time by adding sufficient waste acid solutions in such a manner that the pH of 7 to 8 is reached. This way, the waste liquid flowing out of the chemistry labs are environment friendly.
So this can be really prepared at your own every institution, and I'll suggest that this should be there in every institution, whether it's a school or college, wherever the chemistry labs are there. This disposal mechanism is a very simple one which can be done, and those who are interested, they can just refer to this. It can be made. Also, we have to be, and when you do these projects, I have involved students into even awareness. So these environment friendly practices, not only we keep it for us, it should be also given to our school education system, and that project itself is a good Rajat, if you can mute yourself. And also one of more clippings, and the details of these videos you can watch. As I told you, you can log in into there and watch all these videos. We had conceptualized this chem news type of thing also, where we talk about entire year's news from the chemistry world. And here also we had talked about various accidents and all.
The next segment are accidents which have happened recently due to ignorance of chemistry knowledge to laymen like balloon sellers and negligence of persons organizing various events. Let's start with an old accident.
Delhi, June 2005. About 20 children suffered injuries at India Gate when hydrogen balloons burst into flames. The victims, along with 200 other children, were participating in a rally, World Day Against Child Labor, where many of them were holding hydrogen balloons and others were having burnt candles and placards. As chemists, we can understand hydrogen and fire is an explosive thing, and it would have been really a wonder that this accident would not have happened. It was bound to happen.
Bengaluru, September 2017.
So all these
such balloons are often a very big draw, end up injuring people.
The birthday parties
As-
and all those sprayers that we use, those sprayers have these organic solvents. Come on, so be vigil and try to apply chemistry in everyday life. I will say that is a real approach that you will
as
be
3
able to make a better society. Also, some case studies you should try to see. Like one interesting case I will like to mention is this formalin. One student, he was in the bio lab and maybe some project or otherwise he wanted to take that and store. But then he took it in a well-known branded water bottle, some mineral water bottle. I'm not naming any, I don't want to promote any. So that he put up without any label. So when labeling is very important. And the bottle he kept, and then they came. This is a real accident which has happened. And in chemistry lab, the same student came and the entire group. His friend was not knowing that this bottle is not having drinking water, but it is having formalin, and he drank. And imagine the plight of the student. Almost a month he was hospitalized, and it led to a serious accident. So you should not be taking these casual steps. And with these technology, you can really create awareness with small modules, some case studies. There are plenty that we have added in these, but I like to mention only here. Also, as there is no profession which is going to be without your skills in ICT. So try to upgrade your skills in ICT, right from basic ICT skills of, I can say most of you have, even in your school, because now in the younger generation you have come, that you know Word doc, you know making PowerPoint, and you know Excel. But I can surely say not the professional approach, not the full software. So try to master these softwares which are very much required, and they form the basis of further software. Any presentation, any report that you have to write, it, you cannot work without these. And there are some chemistry related softwares which you should be acquiring knowledge. Try to use this time. Just don't be confined to the syllabi which our Delhi University or any other university is prescribing and all. So we started with writing. Now also I have seen many students, they prefer writing with hand. Using color pen is next approach you can try making. But then try to shift, not with combination. Do you know how to type these equations professionally in a Word doc with the help of equation editor or the softwares like ChemSketch or ChemDraw? How many? Yes, can you be honest and tell me? Can you write these equations professionally, not by hand, in software? So you should be using ChemSketch, ChemDraw type of tools. You can make them professionally, and the moment you are, earlier they used to be stencils. Come on, now these are no longer required. And even in making assignments and question paper, our teachers they find many struggle. So when we come to presentation itself, I'll focus some time, is something. Don't take the presentation same as Word doc. I have seen 90% of presentation where anything which is written on a Word doc or in a book, the entire thing will come here. No, that is not the approach. It has to be more visuals and less of text, more of text. So I'll show you some examples, and these presentations are helpful for teachers directly, for creating e-content as storyboard, for projects and reports, for business presentations. And in business timing is also very important. It's like getting yes or no for funding worth crores within 5 minutes. You will be given 5 minutes. Yes, can you present your idea to your best? So you have to be having best of the presentation. You have to be having know-how of your concept, the presentation skills, the communication skills. All that important combination is what will you take you to these deals. Seminars, workshops, preparing posters can be done on the presentation. So avoid using too much written content, the bad font, typo error, poorly contrasted slides, images and videos with poor quality. And please do not read the entire thing. I have seen 90% of the presenter, whatever is written, as if they don't know their content. Many of the teachers also, whatever they have to teach, everything is written, just like reading from the notes. Presentation should be giving you points of flow, but then you should be evolving. Otherwise, I think most of the students, if you have gone through some of these type of presentation which I am mentioning, you'll say, Madam, sir, please give us your presentation. We don't need you. So that is not what you should be doing. You should be having grip on the subject, and then only then your presentation will become as strong as you require to be. So we are moving from those handwritten things to the black and white. Come on, there's no money required in making colored things. So, but then if you are want to make us that this is the correction for pressure and the volume, and I'm not going into chemistry, but yes, and then how you can, whatever, if you know some graphics tricks also and tools, you can also make them in a way which is more comprehensible rather than this. You can immediately know, you remove this, you will be having buffer action or this, or the some flow charts can also be made. We deal with so many equations, but then do it one by one. We can focus with colors and see. So I prefer slides with less text, more visuals and explanation. And I'll also use some color combination where it can help us where it is. This will also help you in future wherever we want to present, and if many of you want to be going into hardcore research as well as academics. Look at this another reaction, how one can relate, this part is going here, this part is going here. So these presentations with various animations and all, you can add some application part, add that visuals. Okay, do you know this is also known as this when talking about alkynes, then okay, what are the recent researches happening, what are the household tips around that. So clarity of concepts, I think you start adding visuals with the help of these technologies and presentations tool to start up, you will start getting more clarity. If I say this very basic reaction, what is happening? Rather than rote learning, if you observe, then start thinking. This is entirely a different approach on both the theoretical as well as experiment teaching learning. Okay, here one question, all of your chemistry students. You all have to observe very keenly and interpret. You must have seen and know that carboxylic acid test is with sodium bicarbonate, where you get carbon dioxide effervescence, isn't it? Yes. But so alcohol with sodium, it gives hydrogen gas. That is also a gas, but that does not come out with the effervescence. Have you ever thought why two gases behaving so differently? Dono hai to gas. Why we use the term effervescence with carbon dioxide? Anyone will like to answer in the chat or by unmuting? See, whether ICT or without ICT, chemistry, that keen observation is very important. Mridul, it's more soluble. Which gas is more soluble, hydrogen or carbon dioxide? So then hydrogen should come out with more vigorous. It will not remain inside. You are trying to give logic other way around. It's very simple. I think we have to go into deep, small understanding. No need to be sorry, beta. We have to see, that is what we have to be thinking and we have to be analyzing. So I'm giving just one example. Look, every experiment, every theory, minute details, and why that is happening, why that is not happening, will make you better understanding of those concepts. So simple. If you have a crowd and you have a bulky person inside the crowd, and if you're looking from the top, what is going to happen when he or she is moving out? It will disperse entire crowd and you will see him moving. Okay, isn't it? But when you have a small kid going in the crowd, like hydrogen gas, smaller than the spacing between the water molecules. Fine. What will the hydrogen do? Small kid coming out. At macro level, when you see, you will not find any turbulence. So that is why. So the size of hydrogen and carbon dioxide gas, and we don't go into these minute detail. So understanding of concept has to be so clear. RCOH, NaHCO3, both are having carbon. Where is this carbon dioxide carbon coming from? So these we have to go into, so what is happening? And that is what is the change. And with the help of animations and simulations, which are plenty now, you can really look up the way these molecules are. And so try to search around. This one more channel I will recommend, which I use in my teaching learning process also with my students, is ChemTube 3D. All the orbitals that you have been studying, how they really look up, s orbital, p, d, various hybridized orbitals, or you have the 3D stereo molecules, the mirror image molecules, the cis and trans, everything you can visualize. And when you have the software free like ChemSketch, you can draw any structure and you can visualize all those type of things also. So these are required. And when I'm making my presentations, I'll keep minimum text, explain on my own, put the visuals depending upon what type of things. There are plenty of these animations available which can be used by teachers, and for you also, you can make your own and try to understand what is happening inside. So this is one more from like cyclohexane ring, how the boat into chair flexibility happens. The entire periodic table is on the click, where you can look up at the properties and the structure drawing, IUPAC nomenclature, 3D visualization, as I told you, all can be done in different ways. And yes, as teachers and also as students, you can help. We can maybe different projects like this also given, like you can make these videos which are using physical models. Let me show you here. So this I often use when I have this mirror image. So you can see these are the mirror image. So otherwise, every time the model carrying and then showing. So all these are with the possibility of the technology that we, and even whatever we are writing on the board, that also can be captured and can be put up in these presentations. So these becomes then really multimedia enriched presentation is what we call, and they are very beneficial. Spreadsheet also, on the other hand, Dr. Shashwat, I think I'll require 5-10 minutes more. All of you are ready to?
Sure, ma'am. Sure.
Okay. So in spreadsheet also, do start using these Google Forms, and also, but the type of Excel that you export, see how you can improve upon making data fields. And also in all the experiments where you draw graph, stop making graphs with the hand. Try using Excel, and then once you have one set of experiment, the moment you see, okay, this is the volume, if I double the volume, what is going to happen? You will see the result. So rather than you conduct one experiment, but then you can see and try to analyze the theoretical principle behind by having multiple number of sets here. So that is what is the power of these technologies. Different technologies can be used, very simple ones like Excel also in the classroom teaching. So you can do entire simulated Excel preparation where you can see the curve and how whether you are changing the acid volume or the base volume or the pK1, pK2, how this entire curve will be changing. This, and also now there are models available which the 3D models, at least the future generation should know. You should, some of you can also learn how to make, see, imagine you are rote learning a simple cubic cell and a face center. It's better once you understand these are the two ones. This is the simple cubic and this one is the face center where you can see the atom in the face. Can you see this type of thing in the books? No. So that's the power of technology, that really the things become simple and you can take this further into way. But just not that now even the videos are being done, which our team is creating these different models, but most of the videos are whatever teacher is writing, it is being captured. No, that is not the way the e-learning will happen. And many of you can really seriously looking for career in e-learning world, and there are so many things like how to develop e-content. I'll not go into detail. For teachers also there is a benefit if you go into these development, like Teacher Seek, it is my own concept. One can earn API for e-content development. That's the incentive given by uh, UGC for teachers. So this I'm repeating again. There was a question I knew that will come. So myeclass.academy, you'll find open education resources on the front page. All these courses are free, available, and you can enroll and start watching, and you will be enriching. There are many, almost around 40, 50 of the videos available, and also many teachers e-kit are available in the lab, and many of the theory concept is also available in chemistry. You can all start benefiting from that, and start using these audio, video, animation. You're all more tech savvy, but then how it can be used, and we have our own studio, so even audio, video recording skills, the voice modulation, you have to be learning as a performer. Why not? Many social science students, they have these type of groups which are photography society. I really personally feel that in sciences now students should form these type of active clubs, and you can create small videos which are going into real life application of chemistry, or otherwise in going industry, try to capture that. Our ARPIC program, we had done this in studio. This is the entire technique of chroma and all, but then you also have to be cautious about the IPR and copyright issues when you're going into this digital world of writing, publishing, and submitting anything. So this is a serious offense in now, even if the students are or teachers are doing. So you should be aware about these. I'm giving you slight overview, and there are many open education resources which you can refer to. Many EPG Pathshala videos are there which you can learn, which has been created for chemistry. We have 89 courses. So although there is a PG course, but for there are some overlapping topics. If you search like then you can come to know which. And then there's a CECE content for chemistry which is also available, which you can directly benefit, and some NPTEL videos also there are in chemistry, which you will be helpful in your own self learning. And even the questions, you can have different types of questions, drag and drop, multiple choice, video, audio based questions. So this is a new dimension which is going to happen, and entire education space is getting ready for that. We've already experimented and given some models. Much more has to be there, and subject specific softwares. Argus Lab is another free software which you can download and start getting hands-on. And all of you are smart. If you know how to handle computer, you just have to be start using these, and you can create these models and start doing. There are some automatic calculators also available. You can take a screenshot of this. This is also available, where you can put up the compound and immediately the NMR spectra can be generated. Again, in third year, there is a semester where you have to interpret that, okay, how the spectra can be analyzed, and even in your theory you have, but this can be generated on your own, and you write any structure, you will get the structure, the entire spectra, and try to relate. So this is the self-learning, which again, so rather than simulation, these are the database softwares which also help in practical as well as your theoretical understanding. So just you write this, you'll be getting the structure as well as. Then there are some unit converters, some chemical equation balancer, molar mass calculator, gas law calculators. Already the backend formula is there, and the moment you fill up, you get the results. So if you are working in more numbers, then you can get acquainted to this. And as I told you, gaming and virtual lab, the entire virtual and augmented reality is being taught. So those students who are seriously thinking of some career in this field with the chemistry knowledge, and virtual and augmented reality, how it can be created, some minimum scripting. There are various tools coming there also, and you can create, and maybe some of you are interested, I'll be happy to guide you. But those who have the computer knowledge, I'll be able to guide you and take that further. And AI is now driven where artificial intelligence will be there in these learning management systems. So long way to go, and we can take this. So those who are interested, we conduct some teachers training program, but now I'm thinking that I'll also open for students. So those who can join, they can join there. So this is our JGTLC Telegram group where we keep on posting our various events, and if anything suits you, even right from basic ICT skills workshop and all, that is definitely will be helpful. So thank you everyone for patiently listening to me, and if there are any questions, I am here to take them. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you very much. So are there any questions, please, if any, please to ask in the chat box, or you can unmute and ask as well. Thank you. So, ma'am, I have a one query.
Yes, sir, please.
Yeah, yeah. Is there any student who was asking?
Shashwat, there are some questions students have written in the chat box.
Sure.
Also.
Yeah, hi Kiran, you're there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just sure, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was wonderful, and I was actually remembering my e-kits which I have developed.
Yes, you have also developed many e-kits. Yeah.
Yes, I learned hot potatoes from you people only.
So
and I'm using Costco.
Yeah, we should conduct some student-specific programs. Why don't you do it with our banner? Huh? That can be taken further.
Definitely, ma'am.
Even structured drawing, I think our chemistry students are lacking in those skills.
We taught them, I think there was a workshop, Dr. Shashwat only taught them, but I think this is a more of first year and second year student that was, I think, attended by the third years.
Third year, fine.
Exactly, ma'am.
Okay.
And
so
ma'am,
they were not there, I guess, at that
so
time.
actually second year students were there, and those were the ones, those who were writing yes in the box.
Okay, yeah, there was a
So the first year was not there at that point of time. So, but we taught them how to draw the structures via ChemSketch, ChemDraw, and also the ACD labs as well. So, are there any questions? If let me check out in the chat box. Ma'am, there is one question from Manan. I guess it was that, is it permissible to use, just a second, where it was in the initial time? Yeah. So he was asking that, is it legally permissible to use these dyes that you were asking for these dyes when we started the talk from you?
See, it is not permitted in the residential area, but this can be done outside with proper mechanism where they have to be degraded. But unfortunately, the practice is not that. And that is what I want to highlight with this activity. And there are many activities which I have designed actually. So idea is how the chemistry, not simply in the lab, but what happens when it goes outside. Entire kitchen we have chemistry. What happens when these fats and oils that we are talking about, their structure, वो रट्टे लगा के हम परेशान हो जाते हैं, वो हो क्या रहा है वहां पे? Have you ever noticed when you are cooking your food, अगर वो शुरू के oil को ज़्यादा cook कर लेते हो, तो you are already killing that oil. Better approach is keep it mild, keep it very minimum. और वो जो अच्छा ऑयल भी डालना है, ऑलिव ऑयल या जो देसी घी, वो बाद में डालो, पहले उसे पका लोगे, पका के तो सारी चीज. So we are see, this has to be as chemistry students, we should be then scientifically thinking. Come on, where is that scientific approach which we talk about? So that has to be there in each and every one. And I think Manan question was there I think he's talking about the disposal plant I talked about. So watch the videos. There are different ways of different type, which we have talked in detail. So if it is an organic solvent, how will you treat it? If it is inorganic solution, dilute solution, how will you treat? And if there are basic solution, acidic, obviously they should not be reacting. Otherwise, it will be. So
Ma'am, there's
also,
another question in the chat box that from Vidhi. What are some other tools by which we can plot the graphs other than the Excel?
there are graph plotters. You search for online free graph plotters are also there. And Excel, that way I will say, if you learn Excel, it's a beautiful software. Entire analysis with the data filtering, and you can put the formulas. So, or even there are origin, and then uh, there is a, I'm just missing that name. For maths, it is used mostly. There are some mathematical softwares where not only graphing in 2D, you can have 3D simulation, but then some of these are paid software. So
Yeah, Origin is a very good one, ma'am.
Origin is also
Yeah.
very good software. Yeah,
Yeah.
Origin. Yeah, Manan, thanks. Mathematica. Yeah, Mathematica is quite a costly one, but that's also very beautiful software where entire 3D visual, especially when you have the atomic structure, the quantum models, you can really see the 3D part of how these orbitals and all look like to get.
Ma'am, I have one query, not a question, it's just a query. Is there any platform or any virtual videos or like platforms in which we can get the videos related to the syllabus of DU undergraduate students, especially for the organic practicals that we undergo for the second year and third year classes? I mean, a complete package or something, or it's underway or something like that.
See, we had started that concept at IEEE actually, but I don't know where those videos have gone. And for Amrita Mahavidyalaya, they have some videos already available, but mostly of first year. Second,
Okay.
third year are missing right now. So there
Yeah.
is a need,
No,
and
for third year, we can have Lambert Beer law, Laurie's method we can do.
physical की काफी है Kiran,
MFET.
but yeah,
But not
organic.
organic.
No, we can correlate with
Yeah, we can
routine
correlate,
actually.
yeah.
And saponification is also there, but not all.
But rather, I will propose that now we have this entire brand, and in the teachers e-kit, when our institutions open, up to अपने smartphone से we can at least have the procedure part added up, and that can be added, which can be useful. So, Kiran, I think our teachers e-kit can be furnished with
Yes,
the
yes.
procedure part. So I'll be more than happy to have that from all of you, and that will be beneficial not only to Delhi University student but the entire nation.
Surely, ma'am, sure.
And I'm
Sure,
also
ma'am.
looking out for, because this requires, when you have a professional thing done, it requires a good amount of funding. Then you have the entire server cost and all, entire technical team, editing and all. So if I do get, then definitely this is on my top priority list, which I will like to contribute to.
Yeah, because ma'am, the only idea why I was asking related to the organic practicals is that, especially the synthetic organic chemistries, in which we build up new entities, new molecules, which actually you see in Corona times as well. Unless a new medicine or a vaccine has been made, I mean, till date, this cure would not have been taken place. I mean, partially though. So that's why, I mean, looking at the virtual labs with relation to a new entity being built up by combining two substances or two chemicals, I mean, that would have given a more better picture for the combination of the chemicals to the students. Yeah. So is there any other questions, students, if you have? I don't see any more questions in the chat box, ma'am. So, ma'am, thank you very, very much for your time and a very descriptive and elaborative talk. And I'm sure that students would have taken it very seriously. And also, few concepts that you have taken, like the one related to the green chemistry and the waste management and the videos related to those topics you have shown. I mean, I'm pretty much sure that students. From right now, they would not have seen the labs, practical classes, labs in real. And though they know that in India, what we do is generally in the labs, we just do the practicals and throw away all the chemicals in the basins, right? But they don't know if you go to abroad in Europe or US, if you do that, you will be fined millions, right? Institutions. So I mean, in that respect, those concepts would be very helpful to them. So, ma'am, thanks again for your valuable time. Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone, the entire coordinating team. My special thanks again goes to Reena and Shashwat, Kiran, and all other my colleagues from Kirori Mal College. And all dear students, wish you all the very best in your life. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Students, just an announcement that, so ma'am, from 5:30 you're scheduled, right? The quiz?
I think it has posted, somebody might have, some other coordinator might have
Access.
changed the time. So they have posted actually.
Okay.
I had changed the time, but now they are asking for the permission.
Okay.
You may have to coordinate with Kamlesh.
Okay, then I'll just ask him. So students, the portal of the quiz classroom in the Google Classroom will be open till 6 p.m. Ma'am, ठीक है 6 p.m.
Yeah,
तक?
yeah, 6 is absolutely okay.
So 6 till 6 p.m. you guys can actually post your the quiz answers over there. And if you have still been left there, any questions or query, you can ask in the WhatsApp group. But normally it's not at all a problem. It's just hardly 10 questions, 10 multiple choice questions. Just attempt there and your answer will be posted in the respective Google Classrooms. So I hope, yeah.
To add our work also. So we have to add something there.
No. It's just multiple choice question. That's it. You have to just mark them ABCD. That's it. That's fine.
Yes, sir.
So okay. So let me check with मैम मैं कॉल करूं एक बार कमलेश को कि आप एक बार मैम पूछते हो फिर मैं या तो मीटिंग को बंद करूं फिर या तो किरण मैम
He is online only. I have asked him to give permission to the students.
Okay, then should I stop the recording now, ma'am?
Yes, I think we can stop.
Okay.
Ma'am, it can be opened from college ID.
Okay, Mridul has answered this.
Yeah, that's a good answer.
But ma'am, we don't have college ID. We are graduates, so how will do?
नहीं तो आप
Are you not a part of the classroom?
हाँ
Ma'am, yes, we are the part of the classroom, but वहाँ पर तो permission मांग रहे हैं ना, वो link
Yes,
ही नहीं खुल
ma'am.
रहा है
Actually,
quiz का.
the form must be restricted for those people who are not from
I'll ask him to
mail
open it for all
Yes,
of you.
ma'am. In the form, they can do it.
Okay. मैम अभी मैं फिर लॉगिन ही रखता हूँ, right?
Okay.
हाँ मैं लॉगिन रखता हूँ. आप एक बार चेक कर.
Recording you can stop.
हाँ I will stop the recording, right?